apart from the big contracts you're talking about, you and I want to build houses at some point. So we are always building, renovating, repairing our houses. At any point, you will consume cement. So the consumption per capita in Nigeria is still very low. So the demand gap will continue to grow. The entire industry, led by Dangote, is closing that demand gap as it is today, but it continues to grow. So it's a matter of the cement industry catching up with the demand gap as fast as they can. That's why even now we have not started exporting heavily, because even though we have increased production about 4 or 5 times, we are just about matching the demand.
Local
and
demand,
hoping that
demand,
we can now have something to export.
Okay, so we satisfy domestic demand, and we can, at that point where we can satisfy domestic demand and then even begin to export. So we would be looking at very much more robust numbers. Very
much more robust numbers, because also all the other operators are expanding. They are all building new plants. Everybody is trying to meet local demand and start to earn some foreign exchange. So you're going to see all of them improving significantly.
Now, do you have because many people are not too comfortable with the fact that one company has 70% share, perhaps, of the market, and that leaves just about 30% for the other little players, to play with, as it were. Is that a fair game, in your opinion?
Well, it's a free market. Dangote will not stop anyone else from coming into the market. So it's just a dynamics of an economy. If you have the heart to stay on and you can pull the resources. The point is that at the time Dangote was expanding, there are a lot of other Nigerians who had significant funds like that, who had put them somewhere else, either kept them abroad or went to keep trading, buying and selling.
But we did know a couple of them were, have been in the market as long as a matter of fact, somewhere in the market before Dangote even got there. But I'm not sure what happened.
What happened was that when Dangote was building his plants, some of the others were not building. If you look at his direct competitors, when Dangote was building 3 or 4 plants, his competitors were either just holding on to their existing plants or just expanding very slightly. But Dangote was and is now building about 3 or 4 times the capacity that he has. There's a new plant coming up at Obajana, and he's planning more plants. So he has always been very aggressive in the cement market.
And perhaps lucky when it comes to financing also. We do know that many of them, when it comes to going to borrow money, especially long-term cheap financing, that's usually a problem. So it looks like perhaps they've had a better luck in that.
No, I think if you study the way Dangote has operated, yes, luck in the sense that there's some element of luck in everything. But the most important is that he has been very, very proactive. He borrowed money to build the first plant. Once he was making money, he refinanced that initial borrowing, which was a 7-year money. He paid it off in 2 years, and then had his own money to start these other plants to the point where he could borrow again. But not every manufacturer has done that. Most manufacturers will take their profits and try to enjoy it rather than invest quickly into expansion.
Okay, let's leave Dangote alone for now. Let's go to another cement building materials maker, Lafarge Wapco. What they didn't do too badly. Turnover, let's look at the numbers now. Turnover for the second quarter of this year came in at 46.3 billion naira. That's a gain of 57.1% climb, and that's from 29 billion previously. Profit after tax came in quite significant from 3.1 billion previously to 8.8 billion. That's a 175.7% climb for the company. Not too bad, from 3 billion previously to 8 billion. But let me give you some for Lafarge, a company like Lafarge. They're also into this mixing of ready-mix concrete. That they have a company where they produce ready-mix concrete products. They had a surge in profits from that particular arm of the company. That was what, according to the company, contributed to their headline turnover. But the company says it's now looking to invest in cheap coal to replace the low-profile oil that it uses as the LPFO that it's been heavily dependent on. So I guess that's been one of the challenge for the company, but it's looking now to invest in cheaper coal to help fund its operations. But looking at the numbers for Lafarge Wapco, 8 billion now
is also reflecting the cement industry. But more relevant to this performance is the fact that their new plants, the Latakabu plants, came into operation in this last year. So you will see that it's a completely new plant, very modern, much bigger than all the plants they had. So you expect that to have this kind of huge impact Next year, you are not likely to see that because they won't open another plant. They are going to just keep expanding the capacity of the new plants and all the other plants. So you will see another big jump when they open another plant. In fact, with Dangote, when they opened the other plant 2 years ago, you had this big jump, which was far more than 20% that we are seeing now.
Okay, so this is another potential big competitor for Dangote Cement. If they've opened a new plant, and obviously production will climb, capacity may increase and all of that, looking at going forward, their numbers, they might begin to get a larger chunk of the market.
They will get a larger share of the market than what they are getting now. But like we said, if they had expanded, they were in the industry far longer, far longer, maybe 30, 40 years before Dangote came into the business. You see, but they did not expand that fast. If they continue this expansion, they have deeper technical skills. They've been in the business much longer. They are the largest cement company in the world. Lafarge worldwide is the largest. So they have deep technical and financial resources to really stand up to Dangote. So
if they can really leverage on that, can they become the leader? Do they have the muscle to actually get bigger than Dangote is if they move perhaps a little 1 or 2 paces faster?
Do they have the muscle? Yes, they have the muscle. But do they have the commitment from their world headquarters to invest in Nigeria at the scale that Dangote was and is investing? I think that's just the question. If Lafarge decides to build the same size of plants that Dangote has in Nigeria today, they have the money to do it. But it's another question whether Lafarge World Headquarters wants to put all that amount of investment in one country. They probably want to spread their risks and build the plants around the world rather than put all in Nigeria.